Hi guys, thanks for joining me live today. We are going to be doing this stationery edition with Emily at Daisy Print Company. So we are just waiting for her to hop on, but remember while you're watching today that if you hashtag live while you're watching and hashtag replay if you're watching later, that helps us stay relevant. So comment please, share if there's something that you want to know. We'll try to get to questions as well. I was so excited for the warmer weather and then the cold came back. How about you? Well, we are just waiting on our host.
There we go.
Hi. How are you?
Good, how's it going?
Good. Good. So, hi everybody. I'm Cherie with Messina Inn. We are a Texas Hill Country venue in Wimberley, Texas, on Cypress Creek. We have been open for going into our 8th year now, and we are doing a planning series called Planning a Texas Hill Country Wedding. So you can go back and watch different lives all on our YouTube channel from last year. This is a continuation. Today we have our co-host Emily from Daisy Print Company, and she's going to be helping us learn all about your stationery needs. So Emily, welcome. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Emily Ornelas. I own Daisy Print Company. Our home studio is based in Dripping Springs, Texas, but we work with couples all over the place. We can mail it to you, work online, whatever you need. We started in 2012, so we've been going strong for quite a few years now. We do bespoke stationery, so start to finish custom work, invitations, anything you want printed, we'll print it for you.
Awesome. Yeah. And I've worked with Emily on lots of projects, and she does a beautiful job.
Thank you.
We're going to kind of go over some different stationery needs. I think some of them will be things that you would expect, and others may be some items that you didn't think were necessarily stationery. But first of all, of course, is save the dates.
Yes.
So what's your timeline for save the dates, Emily?
So save the dates. You want to order about 6 to 8 months before your wedding date. So kind of your wedding date gives you a good baseline to time everything out. So save the dates are about 6 to 8 months before. That'll give you enough time to get them designed and printed and in the mail, and then everybody gets them.
And you want to get those after you secure your venue. So sometimes your date can change when it comes to venues, so just make sure you have your venue secured and then get with your stationery company to get your save the dates. So what are some of the fun things that you've seen for save the dates?
So I love when couples include their engagement photos. So that's always a fun thing to tie in a little personal element. Some other fun things I've seen are like little calendars, other fun stuff like that, where it has like their little date with a heart around it. I love seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still a sucker for the magnets. I know they've been around for a while, but they're just like, they're on your fridge. You can't forget. So yeah, awesome. So now we're going to move into the biggest part of stationery, which is probably invitations. And so I know that you have a timeline for that as well. So we want to share information with you guys so that you can be prepared going in. So that's part of why we're giving you the timeline.
Yes. So invitations you want to order about 6 months before your wedding date. You want to mail them out 6 to 8 weeks in general before the date. But if you have a destination wedding or if it's around a holiday, I bump that out to like usually about 10 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then, you know, um, your final head counts for catering are usually going to be due anywhere
Mhm.
between 14 days and 30 days out. So having those due back with plenty of time is good because you're going to still be calling people to get those final RSVPs. But so we talked about yesterday, we talked about RSVPs, and so there are, you have your base invitation. What are some things that the information that you should provide to on your general invitations?
So on the invitation, you want to include all of the details of the event. So time, location, venue. If you have a certain attire that you want people to know, that's a good place to put it kind of down at the bottom. Um, that's mainly the main thing. You also want to include the host. So there's some traditional wording etiquette that you can go either way if you have your parents who are hosting or if you're hosting yourself, you do that kind of in the wording of the text.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Um, then also like if you're not inviting kids, this is where you would
Yeah,
put that as well.
yes,
And I
of
bet Emily has some great wording to use for
course.
that.
I do. Lots of
Um, so then some things kind of go into the invitations, like I mentioned, RSVPs,
options.
and you said you're seeing a lot of digital RSVPs these
Hmm.
days.
Yes, it is like the newest thing. I still do some old school mail in every now and then. Some people have done a split where they know these people will RSVP online, these people like the more traditional route, so we send a couple to those relatives or family or friends who they know will mail it in and prefer it that way. So there's many options, but digital is great because you usually can export a spreadsheet from your digital RSVP, usually through your wedding website, and that'll help you get your guest list together as well.
Yeah, and just keeps it all in one
Yeah.
place, which is great. So some things that, especially in the hill country, I think are important would be maybe maps.
Yes. There's so
Um,
many beautiful like landmarks and fun things to do out here. A lot of times we do like a little map of all of our favorite places in the area. Um, and it's usually really cute and fun and gets people excited to visit.
Not like a Google map.
Not like a Google map, more of an illustrated style one.
Yeah. And some other things that you might see insert wise in an
Mhm.
invitation.
So if you want to include an insert for rehearsal dinner that only some people would get, some people are invited to certain events, you can include an extra invitation. A details card is a big one that I recommend to people because if they put their wedding website, then they can change and edit anything on the website. If they just have the link to it, it can be updated as they go throughout wedding planning processes. Um, and that can also have accommodations info, travel info, anything they need, they can put on there.
Yeah. And we're seeing a lot of after parties these days. So that's
Yes.
another
Yes, an after party
invitation you
invitation.
could include, but you may not want grandma at
Mhm.
that. So, include those to your select party friends. Um, so yeah, those are just some inserts that you could add.
Mhm.
Then we're going to talk about trends.
Yes.
So you're seeing a lot of the same colors I am. So the blues and the greens.
Mhm.
And what are some other things that you're seeing a lot of right now?
So one thing I thought about recently, I was brainstorming this morning. I've been seeing a lot of tassels, and I love tassels. So those are so fun to add. Another thing I love is like pockets and folders and all the like accessory things that you can add on, like a belly band, a ribbon wrap, a wax seal, all those like little extra fun details.
And we talked about yesterday textured papers.
Hmm. Yes.
So ripped edges.
Hmm. I have a little sample of that. So with that decollage, it's so pretty.
Yeah. Um, and then you said the wax seals, like once you create that, they get to keep that forever, right?
Yep. So we make a little stamper. It has your custom design seal on it, and then you can keep it and use it for other stationery. It looks similar to that, but it would have like your monogram or your names on it. Sometimes we do the date, something like that.
Yeah. And now we can talk about day of stationery. So
Mhm.
this is where I think people don't necessarily think anymore about their stationery needs for day of. It
Mhm.
used to be very common to have programs.
Mhm.
Still, people are doing it. Please don't do it at my venue unless you're gonna. I'm just kidding. Um, if you, but there are some great. The reason is because we're outdoors and like it blows off. People leave them and they blow
They
off
fly.
down the road. Which you said means you could print it on a wildflower seed paper.
Yeah, I actually want to take a look up right here. This is a menu that we did on the same paper, so it's embedded with wildflower seeds. You can kind of see them in there. And
Yeah.
when you get it wet and plant it, little wildflowers will sprout up from the paper. And it's totally biodegradable.
Yeah. So we can also do like a larger program, things like that. And this is where you get to use your calligraphy skills, I heard.
Yes, I love to do calligraphy. I love big projects, small projects, anything that you want written or painted, I will do.
Yes. So we talked about programs. Another couple things would be like menus and beverage menu, like bar menu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's a little bar menu that we did. So there's so many options when it comes to signage. I love all the possibilities that we can really get customized to your personal style and your event. Bar menus are so fun. You can have his and hers cocktails. You can have your pet on there if you want to do a drink named after your dog. There's a lot of room to play around with those.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
We had a his and hers cocktail, and then we had a mocktail for their daughter.
That's so cute.
No. So lots of fun ways that you can play around with those. Welcome sign,
Mhm.
and you said you're seeing some unique things there as well.
Yeah. One thing I really like that I've been seeing a lot lately is a hanging welcome sign. So we have holes, usually in the four corners if it's outdoors so that the wind doesn't decide to take it away. And you can tie it and hang it up, and it's a really stunning kind of statement when they walk in. It's like welcome, and yeah, it's really cool.
Mhm. And seating charts, seating assignments. Charts are for our end, planning behind the
Yes.
scenes. Seating
I
assignment
love
list.
I love those big installation pieces. We did a really fun one where they each had their little Topo Chico bottle, and we had a little tag with their table. So it was grab your drink, go find your seat, and it was so cute.
I love that like incorporates the escort card and the
Yes,
seating chart all into one.
yes, I love it.
So we did something kind of like that where we did a champagne wall,
Mhm.
and on the champagne glass they had a little thing that had their name and table number. Oh, I think he froze. I don't know if it's me or you. So Emily is frozen right now. Let's see if she will come back. But yeah, so we're seeing a lot of large installations in general for like seating charts, in particular, I'm sorry, I keep saying charts, seating assignments. So big walls with books or drinks or flowers or comic books or different things like that to kind of bring in your personal flair and your design plan, which is a lot of fun. Um, Escort cards are still something that Emily said she is getting a lot of calligraphy on those, like for the head table especially. And those could be, I've seen like little acrylics, I've seen plants, I've seen fruit, I've seen your traditional cards. I'm sure she's seen a lot more, and hopefully she'll be able to hop back on here live with us in just a moment. Let's see. Okay, adding her back in.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just telling them that I've seen everything from like big signs for seating charts.
Mhm.
Um, I've seen the books with their names on them. I've
I
seen
love that.
plants with names on them. I've seen fruit with names on them. Comic books. What else? What else do you think escort
I
card
love
or
that.
seating chart that you think is fun and cute?
I have done lemons before. I did like a calligraphy name on the lemon, and that was super fun. Um, oh man, there's so many cool ideas. I've seen the champagne wall where they have it on the glass. I saw one time a keychain wall, so they had like
Mhm.
custom keychains made for
Oh yeah,
everybody,
I
and
had one of those too.
I love that idea.
Yeah. Um, back, several years ago, saw a lot of leaves.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So anything that like, either goes with your design plan or is unique to you guys, I think is super fun. And with your table, you could be really creative, and do like a customized wine glass that told them where they were sitting or something like that too. Let's see. Keepsakes. So we mentioned the seed paper, which is kind of cool,
Mhm.
but I heard that matchbooks are coming back.
Yes, I love matchbooks, and we definitely have the capability to make those. Every time I see one, I want to take one home because I love candles. So I usually have like my little matchbook stash to light my candles.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some other keepsake items that you're seeing a lot of?
uh, let's see. A lot of fun, like little gifty items. I've seen anything from like yummy candy. A lot of people are going more consumable route. Obviously, we do like the koozies and that kind of thing. But a lot of people are going into like little spice blends, little candles, something that they would get to use up and just kind of enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said like for those, you're also seeing like a lot of stickers and labels.
Yes. So a lot of times people already know what they want or they've purchased it. So we can kind of brand it for them and put their information on it with like a sticker or a label or even like a little gift tag is fun too.
Yeah. And then you were telling me about these Val books.
Yes, I actually have some right here. They're so cute and fun, and you get to write your little vows in them. And then when you go up to the altar, you have it already ready to go. So you don't have to stress about remembering. And then they look great in photos, and you can keep it forever and cherish it every time you want to think about your wedding.
Yeah. I
You
love
can also
that.
customize the design. So we can source different ribbon, we can put your names, the date, whatever you want on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and then we just gonna kind of want to touch on price point
Yeah.
so that people are kind of, because you can go online and you can just print these same old invitations that you see
Mhm.
everywhere. And they do have a price on them, but then you got to cut them, then you got to get the paper and the printing cost and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. So, um, what are your starting price points and like kind of what that includes?
So our kind of standard invitation starts at $2 for the 5x7 card printed on one side and a matching envelope. Our design fee is $40 per hour, so it just kind of depends on all the changes and things that you need. And then that's pretty much our basic. If you want to add on extras, you're welcome to do so. Everything's a la carte, so you can pick and choose. I want an insert card, I want a wax seal, whatever you want, we'll add it on.
Okay. And then like what are kind of top line, like the high-end invitations running?
So I recently quoted out a letterpress design on that same size on a little bit of paper, and they ran about $4.50 each.
Awesome. So another thing I just wanted to mention was like making sure that you take your invitation and get it weighed at the post office so that you know the correct postage when mailing your stationery, your invitations, because some of them weigh more or they're larger, and so they require more postage than your standard letter. So you don't want to like go buy a bunch of hard stamps and then they're not even the right
Exactly.
postage. Is there anything else that you think that couples should really know or you'd like to share?
Going into it design-wise, a lot of printers are different. So if you're trying to match a certain color just exactly, that can be a little tricky. We can help you get as close as possible, but every printer is going to print a little differently. And just kind of knowing the timing of things, when to order what, but we covered that, so they're already set.
Yeah. I think the one thing we didn't mention was like you want to order your day of stationery. So those menus, programs, escort cards, those things 1 to 2 months out. So starts at the very top, 6 to 8 months order, or send out, save the dates, then order invitations 6 months out, send those out at latest 6 weeks, as early as 10 weeks, and then order that day of stuff 1 to 2 months out.
Yep.
And so, any like red flags you can think of? Like if they're talking to a stationary person, is there any red flags that you can think of?
Like something that somebody says that you're like, uh-oh, you want to know
like when you hear
something
like
else?
like a client comes to you after they've been to somewhere else. Like what are some things that you're like, oh, that
Gotcha.
would have told me right off the bat that.
So paperweight is important. Sometimes I see stuff that isn't the best quality, so we try to source the best quality. Some other things are like etiquette-wise things. If they told them something that wasn't really what most people do, like putting your registry information on your invitation is a big no-no etiquette-wise. So if somebody did that, I would be like, don't do that.
Yeah.
You can put it on your website and just link to your site.
Yeah. And what about anything that you think that they should have in their contract for stationery?
If they expect anything by a certain date, we should definitely chat about that beforehand. If they have certain like rush things that they want really, really quickly, then that could definitely be incorporated.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Emily, for joining me today and telling us all about what you do in the stationery world, and helping us educate these couples because, you know, this is their first time doing this.
Yeah.
And hopefully their first time. And so that's what our series is all about. So next week we'll be covering trends, and then we'll be wrapping up this year with food and beverage section. So join us next week to talk about trends. And remember that you can find all these videos. This year's videos right now will be on our Facebook still, but last year's videos are available on our YouTube channel. So thanks for joining us today, guys, and we will see you soon. Thanks, Emily.
Of course.